This episode features some of the rarest and most unusual creatures discovered by people, including a unique frog with spikes on its face, a rare albino anteater, a bird that changes color during mating season, a monkey with a bleeding heart on its chest, and much more. Big Frog. The first guest in our episode has been dubbed Big Frog by internet users. This truly gigantic frog was discovered by an ordinary American resident. According to her, Big Frog was about 3.5 feet tall and weighed around 440 pounds. The internet had never seen such enormous frogs before. Do you think these images are real, or is someone trying to deceive us? Share your thoughts in the comments. However, even if the image is photoshopped, it's extremely well done. Regardless, there are plenty of other amazing creatures in the world. One of them is definitely the Florida horse conch. It weighs about 11 pounds on average and is considered one of the largest gastropod mollusks in the world. Most predators immediately turn away when they see its large size and thick shell. Even when this conch is in real danger, it retracts into its shell and closes the lid, becoming virtually impervious to its surroundings. Usually, when nature equips a creature with such an effective defense mechanism, it may struggle with offense, but this is not the case for our guest. These mollusks envelop other shells with their toothed tongue, drilling holes into the shells with acid and special enzymes, and then consuming them. They're believed to live for 20 years or more. Despite these features, the species has become quite rare. You might think that human activity is the primary cause, but that's not entirely accurate. The late sexual maturity of these mollusks, which occurs at 7 years, contributes to their declining population. Unlike many similar mollusks, the Florida horse conch is not a hermaphrodite and is quite lazy, hardly moving throughout its life. Albino anteater. Our next guest is even more unusual. The albino anteater is a rare sight. Anteaters are already rare animals, and albino anteaters are even more so. Albinos are creatures with disrupted melanin synthesis, which gives them white skin, fur, feathers, or scales, and pink or pale blue eyes. These individuals struggle to survive in the wild because they're easily spotted by predators and lack protection from ultraviolet radiation. Nonetheless, albinos always spark interest among scientists and laypeople alike. In addition to being an albino and the fact about Salvador Dali, did you know that anteaters have unique diets? They're named after their primary food source, ants. These creatures can consume tens of thousands of insects daily, amounting to billions of insects annually. No other predator can boast such a high prey count. When they find an ant nest or termite mound, they use their 24-inch tongue to lap up the insects until they're full. The anteater's tongue is sticky due to a special saliva that secures its prey upon contact. The tongue can flick out 160 times per minute. Try it yourself and comment on how many times you can do it. Unfortunately, anteaters cannot do much against larger predators. Their mouth is shaped like a pencil, allowing them to consume only tiny food. However, anteaters have adapted to chew their prey with their stomach walls, crushing it inside. Gelada. You might not be familiar with the name of this creature, but it's definitely worth your attention. The gelada monkey has a unique hormonal spot on its chest that becomes particularly bright during the mating season. Imagine the faces of people encountering such a primate for the first time. It's bewildering. This spot is often called the bleeding heart, although it's actually a bald patch of skin. In its usual state, it's pale pink, but it turns red for alpha males and females ready for mating. Geladas primarily eat grass, fruits, and seeds. Insects are only consumed if they happen to pass by. These monkeys live in large groups, often up to 60 individuals, resembling a tribe. Each family group cares for its members but defends itself collectively in case of danger. They use vocal signals, postures, gestures, and facial expressions for communication. Geladas may even change their tone of voice during conversations, similar to humans. In terms of strength, geladas are formidable. An attack on one monkey is met with defense by 10 others, all equipped with long, thick canine teeth. It's unclear how people managed to film this creature or where it happened, but they were incredibly lucky to encounter an amphisbaena. This is neither a snake, nor an eel, nor a lizard. It's a representative of the suborder of scaly reptiles. There are over 200 species of amphisbaena, each living in its own warm region in the world, including South America, Mexico, Africa, and Western Asia, with one species even in southern Europe and the southeastern United States. Despite their wide distribution, we know very little about amphisbaena. This is because their ancestor chose to hide underground in the Cretaceous period. It looked like a slightly elongated lizard back then, but millions of years of evolution transformed its descendants into blind, worm-like creatures. If you still don't believe they have nothing in common with snakes, consider this. Their skull structures are different. Amphisbaena cannot swallow food whole, but can snap the shells of arthropods and bones of small vertebrates, something snakes can't do. Additionally, due to their flat body structure, amphisbaena have lost part of one lung, unlike snakes. Their method of raising offspring also makes them hard to encounter. Many species prefer to lay eggs and carry them inside, protecting themselves from predators and leaving no trace. Eastern spadefoot toads. What kind of creature could have such a strange name? A bird? A lizard? No, it's an amazing frog from China. When born, the eastern spadefoot toad looks like any other frog with similar size and color. It feeds on insects, worms, and small vertebrates. However, during the mating season, males grow beards of sharp spikes, which can number 10 to 15 on one individual. These spikes are not for decoration, but for combat with other males over the best stones from running water. The winner gains glory, the stone, and the affection of the female. The fights continue until complete exhaustion. Crested ibis. The crested ibis is a very rare bird, considered endangered. Ordinary people can only see it in some reserves. Its natural population is now only found in China. This bird is unique for its ability to paint its feathers. During the mating season, the ibis smears its body with a dark, tar-like substance until it turns a smoky gray. This makes them more attractive to potential mates. The substance is produced by glands on their head and neck, a mechanism unique to this bird. Who said only birds with such mechanisms could be unique and interesting? There are many other birds in the world that can surprise us, like the kiwi. Despite being considered a bird, it resembles a small mammal more than a typical bird. Kiwis are about the size of a chicken and have a highly developed sense of hearing and smell with weak eyesight. They weigh between 2.2 to 8.8 pounds, and their bones are heavy because they're solid, unlike the hollow bones of most birds. Kiwis rely on their strong claws and long beak for defense. Despite their uniqueness, kiwis are endangered, and two albino kiwis recently born in New Zealand are of particular concern due to their weaker physical condition and susceptibility to allergies and diseases. However, they have a special place in the ecosystem of New Zealand, with their dense fur-like feathers helping them maintain a constant body temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Giant mosasaur. It would be strange if there were just one animal at the top of the food chain all the time. For example, Liviat novelli. Although the word strange is not the right one here, it's rather impossible because animals don't stand still and are constantly evolving. The giant mosasaur, for example, evolved to such a scale that it became the main marine predator of the Cretaceous period. For you to understand, it was on one level with modern great white sharks or orcas in terms of hunting. By the way, this is not the only possible comparison between the giant mosasaur and modern creatures. For example, did you know that giant mosasaurs were distant relatives of modern-day monitor lizards? They were similar to them even in appearance, but instead of legs, they had fins, and the tail was flattened for swimming. Oh, and they were different in size, of course. Mosasaurs could be more than 50 feet long. An important feature of this predator was the structure of its jaws, quite short and wide, armed with massive conical teeth like those of orcas. Modern scientists learned this thanks to the remains of the extinct animal. They helped them determine that the monster fed not only on smaller fish, but in general on anyone it wanted. Colossal whale. When it comes to the largest creature in the world, there is no question or doubt in anyone's mind. They all say it's the blue whale. It can be about 100 feet long and weigh an incredible 150 tons. But who would have thought that scientists would doubt the correctness of the answer? The fact is that not so long ago, a group of researchers found the remains of another ancient whale which weighed 180 tons. Getting ahead of myself, I will say that it was also a whale, not a blue one, but a representative of another species. This creature was so large that at first the scientists took it for a huge stone, which is extremely hard to move. No one knows for sure what kind of lifestyle the giant whale of prehistoric times led, but scientists have already made a few assumptions. Its age has been estimated at 40 million years. It's believed that such a giant reached 66 feet in length and could weigh as much as 340 tons. And this was a medium-sized whale. Of course, at this size, the whale needed a lot of food, but the diet of the big creature is still a mystery. Basilosaurus, which were related to it, fed on fish, but the large body of the colossal whale was unlikely to allow it to swim quickly and make maneuvers in pursuit of fast inhabitants of the seas and oceans. Also, scientists doubt that the ancient creature fed on algae because science doesn't know about any herbivorous whale. The most likely version is that the ancient giant was a scavenger. Fossilized brain. Fossils of ancient creatures can be terrifying because of their amazing size, but scary doesn't always mean big. Researchers recently discovered a one-of-a-kind fossilized brain in the remains of a fish that died out 300 million years ago. Normally, traces of such ancient life only remain in the form of harder parts of animals, such as their bones, as soft tissue decomposes quickly and almost never becomes fossils. But in this case, a dense mineral, possibly pyrite, seeped into the body and replaced the tissue, which was probably preserved longer in a low-oxygen environment. Because of this, modern scientists scanned the formation and were able to take it in for closer examination. Of course, it wasn't a whole brain, but the team of scientists was still able to see specific morphological details in it. Time will tell what exactly this will affect and what secrets it will reveal. Four-legged snake. It has long been accepted that snakes were not always legless, creeping animals, as we're used to seeing them. And no, this is not a popular opinion among fans of mysticism. It's quite a logical assumption, put forward not without the help of scientists. Even paleontologists expected that in the fossil record, somewhere in the dark corridors of time, a four-legged snake must exist. And in 2015 it was finally discovered. The discovery made a splash. Scientists from all over the world gathered to study the remains. It was actually a snake with four tiny, almost rudimentary, but still legs. And so people went to rewrite history as other, more incredulous and careful critics came into play. They studied the skeleton more carefully and noticed that the animal's teeth were not curved like snake teeth, and the skull and skeleton were not snake-like. In addition, the creature did not have large abdominal scales common to snakes. Sometimes scientists come across traces of abnormal arthropods that are more than 500 million years old. In Canada, there's a special place where marine sedimentary rocks from the Cambrian explosion lie. These sediments are called the Burgess Shale. Due to the unique conditions in which these shale formed, the soft tissue traces of Earth's first animals have been preserved inside them. As you can imagine, that's where the researchers found an ancient multicellular creature from the family of arthropod predators. It had large size, elongated heads, as well as a large set of long whiskers, tentacles, thanks to which the creature successfully extracted food from the bottom. The only thing that distinguished it from its kind was its gigantic size, because of which scientists at first didn't even believe in its existence. In front of the scientists was one of the largest Huridae. The individuals reach at least 20 inches in length, and more than half of the length was the head and the shell covering it. Vampire bat. Bats are creatures that appeared tens of millions of years ago, and in that time have managed to evolve to an incredible scale. They have many species, about 1,400, which is about a fifth of all mammal species. So it's not surprising that someone found a new species in an Argentine cave. This time it was a very large vampire bat, or rather its remains. Scientists found bones of its jaw. While the wingspan of today's vampire bats reaches an average of 10 inches, their giant ancestor was about 30% larger and had a wingspan almost twice the wingspan of many modern birds. Previously, people thought that all bloodsuckers fed only on rodents, or at the very least on deer, but now there's a good reason to assume that the source of their food was representatives of megafauna, that is, those which mass exceeds 100 pounds. Here's an interesting fact. No matter how large the creature is, in any case, it will not feel pain from the bite of a vampire bat. And no, it's not about the special accuracy of the attacker, but about its professional bite, accompanied by the administration of an anesthetic. Blood oozes from the holes made by the teeth, which the bats drink with the help of a rolled-up tongue. In half an hour, these vampires can drink up to 2 ounces of blood, which is 1.5 times their own weight. And now I'll tell you about the most venomous creatures on the planet. Mexican beaded lizard. A venomous lizard with a frightening appearance. It's listed in the IUCN Red List. In case of danger, it may not come to the surface and lie motionless for several days. Fat-tailed scorpion. A small but formidable scorpion, which name comes from the ancient Greek, translates as man-killer. Despite its dozen eyes, the fat-tailed scorpion sees very poorly, but its poor eyesight doesn't prevent it from hunting. Boomslang. A beauty with incredible eyes, but encountering it is Russian roulette. The animal adheres to the tactics of dry and wet bites. Common krait. The chance of survival is only 50%, even after injection of an antidote. Their venom is 16 times more powerful than that of a cobra. Russell's viper. A snake which behavior changes over the years. Mulga snake. It can secrete up to 150 milligrams of venom at a time. It'll hold its prey in its teeth until it's done with it. Indian cobra. It's considered wise and noble. It rarely attacks a human, and when threatened, it stands menacingly and blows its trademark hood. Gila monster. A venomous lizard. If you grab it by the tail, it'll throw it off. Brown recluse spider. The most venomous spider in the Sicaridae family. Its venom is capable of causing necrosis. European black widow. The most dangerous spider in Russia. Fortunately, the European black widow attacks only if it's disturbed. The European black widow venom affects both animals and humans. Saw-scaled viper. Serpentologists consider this small and very mobile snake extremely dangerous. It has a special reputation due to its irritability, aggressiveness, and deadly venom. Eastern diamondback rattlesnake. It cannot chew its prey. It simply gets its tooth into the prey's body, through which the venom enters the body and instantly paralyzes the prey. Dubois sea snake. It can breathe underwater. The venom of these snakes is the third most toxic in the world, second only to the taipan and the eastern brown snake. Red lionfish. The venom of this fish is in its barbs located in the long rays of the dorsal and pectoral fins. The injection is accompanied by severe pain, followed by paralysis of the motor and respiratory systems, which can be fatal. King cobra. The largest venomous snake on the planet. Pitahui. These birds have a black and yellow color, red eyes, and excellent immunity to the venom, which they themselves are endowed with. Blue-capped ifrit. A tiny creature that can finish off a tiger in 10 minutes. Slow loris. The only venomous primate, which toxin is deadly even to humans. Greater weaver. All you need to know about it is never touch it if you're at the Black Sea. Whiptail stingray. Strong and dangerous stingrays, which are also found in the Black Sea and many other seas around the world. Western green mamba. A killer from Africa from which it's impossible to take your eyes off. Puff adder. A snake that doesn't care about being overweight. Tarantula hawk. An elegant killer with an extremely painful bite. Siberian pit viper. Unlike most creatures on Earth, it has not only standard sensory organs but also specialized ones with which it picks up thermal radiation. Globefish. A small fish the size of a palm which can swim with its tail forward. Solenodon. Small animals from Cuba and Haiti that are contemporaries of dinosaurs. Egyptian cobra. It was used to adorn the heads of honorable Egyptians. The locals personified it with might and power. Indian red scorpion. The lethality from its venom is 40%. This animal is a big problem for the people of India and Nepal as it often attacks children. Mouse spider. Despite its small size, a third to 1 inch in length, the appearance of the spider is more than brutal. The blue-black body is decorated with red and black mandibles. Platypus. It's ancient, venomous, and glowing. Harvester ant. According to some reports, they possess the most toxic venom of any insect in the world. This ant's bite hurts more than 20 bee stings. South Russian tarantula. The only Russian tarantula, which is a real monster of the insect world. Blunt-nosed viper. Its venom is second only to the venom of the Asian cobra in the degree of danger, power, and speed of action. Lesser Asian scorpion. This scorpion has a venomous gland on the end of its abdomen, and its weapon is a needle. It bites on contact. It's not dangerous to humans. Yellow-bellied sea snake. It can drift on the surface of the water, including the gathering in large groups. Eastern brown snake. This species is the second most toxic of all land snakes. It's found in Australia. Black mamba. It reaches a length of 8 to 10 feet and weighs up to 3.3 pounds. It's the most terrifying snake because of its size, aggressiveness, toxicity of its venom, and the speed with which symptoms appear after the bite. Common death adder. It has excellent camouflage, long teeth, hunts at night, and does not mind hunting humans. Six-eyed sand spider. Can feed once every 6 months, and its toxin dissolves the prey in a minute. Tiger snake. It got its name from its hue and its danger. It lives in Australia and can grow up to 6.5 feet in length. Red harvester ant. An insect that hunts during the day. It mainly feeds on seeds, but also has a powerful sting and venom. Garden tiger moth. Each moth has an individual pattern on the upper side of its wings. When in danger, the moth spits out a toxin. Even its hairs can cause irritation. It's better to watch it from the side. Killer bee. A fully venomous hybrid of the African and European bee, bred in 1956 by geneticist Warwick Kerr. Asian giant hornet. This monster's taken over Asia, and now it's advancing into the West. Bullet ant. A dangerous insect with a very powerful sting. The bite is comparable to a bullet wound. Clinging jellyfish. A small jellyfish that poses a danger to humans. It attaches to the prey with small suction cups. Lion's mane jellyfish. A venomous jellyfish which, together with its tentacles, can be longer than the blue whale. Cane toad. A tailless amphibian with very thick skin and lungs like those of a great swimmer. Eurasian water shrew. An inconspicuous beast that's actually an insatiable, furry creature with venomous saliva and a vault of living bodies. Caucasus viper. It has amazing colors and is endangered. Dinix viper. It's a high mountain species. The most extreme points of detection of this snake are over 5,000 feet above sea level. No other snake species in the greater Caucasus rises above it. Massasauga. The name of this rattlesnake comes from the Ojibwe language used for tribal communication by Native American tribes in Canada and the northern United States. Caucasus meadow viper. It's very close to Vipera renardi, from which it differs in its broader body, more rounded muzzle edges, and coloring features. Vipera renardi. With a bit of luck, it can live up to 30 years in the wild, sometimes reaching a length of 27.5 inches together with the tail. Fire ant. One of the world's most dangerous invasive ant species with a powerful sting and venom. Megalopage opercularis. A pus caterpillar, Donald Trump's walking hare with a surprise. Peacock moth. At the slightest danger, the animal will poison its prey with its thorn-shaped spines. At the same time, the creature is extremely beautiful. Komodo dragon. It's a top predator. Its body length reaches 10 feet and large individuals weigh 350 pounds. White-lipped pit viper. A venomous and rare green-colored snake that's common in Asia. Timber rattlesnake. It grows to more than 20 inches. With the help of a spur on its tail, the snake rattles. Jack jumper ant. It's killed more people in Tasmania than spider bites, snake bites, wasp bites, and shark attacks combined. Maned rat. The only animal with poisonous fur. It's still unknown how the rodents themselves avoid exposure to the deadly toxin. Common viper. It has very long fangs, which, if not used, can fold up. Glycera dibranchiata. They have 4 sharp fangs made of copper, which are used both to bite the prey and to fight off opponents. Pit vipers. These snakes are distinguished by the presence of 2 thermoreceptive labial pits located between the eyes and nostrils. Floral egg crab. It has distinctive color patterns that make it quite visible on the reef. Southern American bushmaster. The patience of this snake is one to envy. White steppe spider. The color is determined not by hemoglobin, as in most animals, but by hemocyanin, which gives a rare hue. Spider eyes can see well during both day and at night. Yellow sac spider. The female makes a cocoon for the eggs measuring 1.5 inches. It's placed in tall grass and is aggressively defended by a spider. Blackfoot firefish. These fish are active at twilight, but during the day they often burrow into the ground. Like other firefish, the creatures often corner their prey with their large pectoral fins. Ladybird spider. Although this spider inhabits almost all of Europe, it's not been heard of in England since 1906. Snub-nosed viper. The only viper in Spain and Portugal that has a small, soft horn on its nose. Montpelier snake. Can be quite voracious, eating up to 24 lizards at a time. Horned viper. It's aggressive only during the mating season. It prefers dry habitats, common in southeastern Europe, all of Turkey, and part of the neighboring countries. It has a larger outgrowth than that of the snub-nosed viper. Cottonmouth. It's one of the top 5 snake species, accounting for up to 95% of all snake bites in the United States. Eastern green mamba. The main habitat of these snakes is evergreen forests and bushes. They're good at climbing branches, but they can often be found on the ground as well, on tea or mango plantations. Amur viper. Its length doesn't exceed 31 inches. From above, its head is covered with shield-shaped outgrowths. Western diamondback rattlesnake. Uses an auditory illusion to trick the human brain. African beauty snake. The maximum length is 6 feet. On the body, there are 3 light longitudinal stripes stretching from the neck to the tail. Giant spitting cobra. An animal that can kill prey within spitting distance. Literally. Giant silkworm moth. Prior to learning about it, scientists believed that touching some butterfly larvae could cause only mild skin irritation in humans. Black-botched porcupine fish. It spends time in shelters during the day and comes out at night to feed. It can be found at depths of up to 295 feet. Lebanon viper. Its maximum body length is 27.5 inches. The viper is found in mountainous areas in Lebanon and Syria at an altitude of 5,250 to 6,650 feet above sea level. more often in cedar forests. Coastal taipan, the third most venomous snake in the world. Fire salamander, the ancient people were terrified of it. Green bush viper, a snake of incredible beauty from the rainforest. Asp viper, it will not attack a person, but when frightened it will curl up and hiss. That's a warning. Irukandji jellyfish, it's no bigger than a fingernail, but its venom can kill an adult in 20 to 30 minutes. Sydney funnel web spider, its long fangs are so strong and long that it can easily bite through not only the skin but also the nail plates. That's all, guys. Which venomous creature struck you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you later.